Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie, and today I'm going to be going over my November TBR, which is very ambitious. Although it looks very ambitious. Comparatively to the last couple of months, I've been reading a ton. I read, I think, 22 or 23 books in the month of October. So I significantly I don't know if it's significant. I actually haven't counted, and I'm a little afraid to. So I may count during this, but we'll see. But for the month of November, I did make sure to try and cut it down a bit because I am finally going on my honeymoon in November. When I'm filming this, I'm actually leaving in a couple of days. Very excited to actually get a honeymoon since when we got married last year, we didn't get a chance to. So it's gonna be a fun way to spend our 1-year anniversary. So not really planning on bringing a ton of books on our vacation, but I am going to be bringing, I think, 2 or 3 maybe. And during some of the downtime that we've planned, reading it or on the flights. I think it's like a 4-hour flight. But reading is not going to be my priority. So I'm going to just jump right into the book. So for the month of November, the series that I am trying to finish is All the Stars and Teeth by Adalyn Grace, which is a seafaring adventure about a girl who has to take a test on her 18th birthday to determine if she is worthy of the crown of her island nation. Islands, there's several different islands. I really liked book 1. I love very seafaring, oceanic stories. So I've actually already done my reread of book 1, and I am currently reading book 2. I actually haven't started it. I've just placed the bookmark in it and taken off the dust jacket. It's as far as I've got. And I'm really excited to see how this duology ends. Brittany says that it's a really great ending, so I'm pumped. My goal is to get this book completed before I leave. So that's the plan, and we're gonna hopefully stick with it. Up next, I have Across the Green Grass Fields by Seanan McGuire. This is the last one that's out of the Wayward Children series, and this one follows a totally new character in a land called the Hooflands. So this is I'm getting very Horse Girl vibes from this. But this is the most recent release. I believe this one came out in January. So really excited to get to this. I'm really excited to finally get a new character. I feel like we haven't done that in a while. And I'm excited about the Hooflands. Like, what kind of creatures? Because I could think, centaurs, satyrs, unicorns, alicorns, pegasi. Like, there's other things that's not horses. Satyrs? There's centaurs and satyrs. But yeah, there's a bunch of other animals that also have hooves. So very intrigued about this one. And this one's one of the shorter ones. But nonetheless, excited to be finally caught up on this entire series, which I think the next one comes out in January. In my long goal of finally being caught up on all my Owl Crate and Fairy Loot books, I have This Poison Heart by Kaylynn Bayron. This is a girl who can manipulate plants and has to solve a murder mystery, I believe. And she does that by inheriting a house from her aunt. I have no idea, but I know Kaylynn Bayron wrote the Cinderella is Dead book, which I know got very polarizing reviews, but I've seen really good reviews on this book, and I believe this was my July Owl Crate book, so slowly catching up. Next, I have A Very Large and Expansive Sea by Tahereh Mafi. I love Tahereh Mafi. I have all of her books right there. And this was her, I believe, debut into contemporary. And this, I believe, follows a young Muslim girl shortly after 9/11. I'm really excited. I've heard fantastic things about this book. I love her writing style, and I'm ready to delve back into her writing. Up next, I have Gild by Raven Kennedy. This is the book talk pick Brittany and I have chosen for the month of November, which that video came out last week, and feel free to check that one out. But I still kind of have no idea. I know the girl is gold and she's in a cage, and it's a heavily very romantic book. I believe it's a King Midas retelling. I'm not sure if it's a gender bent where everything she touches turns to gold, or she's been turned into gold by a King Midas type of character. No clue, but I'm ready to go into it. Up next, I have Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. I've been meaning to get to this book for so long. This is a mystery following just that very typical YA thriller formula. New girl to town, weird things start happening. New girl tries to figure out what happens with other people that she gravitates towards. But I really like Claire Legrand's writing, and she writes a really good mystery. I've read her Furyborn series, well, the first 2 books, and she is really good at pulling out a twist. So I'm hoping for something very similar with this. Next, I have Rage by Cora Carmack. This is the sequel to Roar, which I really enjoyed. This story follows a young princess in a world where storms actually are magic. And she runs off with these basically storm chasers to try and harness her own magic or awaken it. And I thought it was really cute. It's a great underrated YA. I'm a little nervous to go into this because the 3rd and final book, while announced, keeps getting pushed to the point of where we actually don't know when there's a release date for it. So I'm nervous that I'm going to fall in love with this and never see the final book. So I'm still going to read it though. Next, I have My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brodi Ashton, and Jodi Meadows. This is by the same author who wrote My Lady Jane, which I read, I want to say last year. And that was a retelling of the Lady Jane Grey. And this is a retelling of Jane Eyre. Now, I have no idea what the Jane Eyre story is. Not a clue. Never read it. But they take these famous historical Janes, and they've recently started the Mary's trilogy, and they put this supernatural, fantastical element into their story. And I'm really excited to see. Granted, I don't know the original story, but I'm still intrigued to see what they do with this. The next book that I have is The Continent by Keira Drake. Now, I have no idea what this book is about at all, but I've had it on my shelves. I think this is probably the book I've had on my shelves the longest that's been unread. And the fact that I don't know what it's about, I assume it's about an island that has no war, and this girl falls onto it and causes war, or war follows her. I have zero clue. My thing about this, and the reason I kept pushing it off, is the final book, it's a duology, was supposed to come out, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, and it got pushed because I know that this book, similar to what happened with Amelia Wenzhou, she got a lot of hate for her story. I'm not sure if that's what caused the second book. I don't know if it's officially been canceled or not, but I am intrigued. I want to finally get this off my shelves. Whether or not I keep it or not will be determined when I read it. But I want to finally see what everything is all about and understand what the continent is. Next, I have The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. This is the sequel to The Prison Healer, which was one of my favorite books that I read in September. I did order the special matching edition that Fairy Loot offered, but it's been pushed to being delivered, I think, somewhere in late December. And I'm impatient, so I bought my own copy. And I'm going to read it this month because after that last page, I need some answers. And the 3rd book has been announced for, I believe it's early summer. So I'm really excited that this series, all 3 books are coming out within, I think, just the span of a year. And I think more authors should do this, or more publishers should make this happen, because this has been awesome. Next is another book that's been on my shelves for a while, not quite as long as The Continent, but it's been on here for a while, and I've actually had the whole series for a hot minute, and that is Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. This is a retelling of 1001 Nights, but from a female perspective. And I have found that retellings of 1001 Nights, I'm a huge fan of. They're really cool and very dynamic, and I've heard that this is another one of the most underrated YA fantasy series, and I want to finally understand what the hype, non-hype is all about. For my catching up with Book of the Month books, I have A Rogue of One's Own by Evie Dunmore. Now, I read Bringing Down the Duke, which was the first book in this romance series, 2 or 3 months ago, and when my birthday was in September, for my free add-on for my birthday month, I picked this book up because I want to read all of these books because I love the historical concept. We're following a different suffragette trying to woo or run away from a wealthy man, and the first one was done really, really well, turned a lot of tropes on their head, which I love to see. And I hope that this one has that same magic about it. I also did just get the third one as an add-on for October or November. I don't remember which one, but I have it now. Next, I have Roseblood by A.G. Howard. All I know about this book is it is a gender-bent Phantom of the Opera. And that sounded like something I would devour. Now, I read A.G. Howard 3 or 4 years ago. I read Stain. And I did not like it. And I don't know if it was the writing style or if it was the story itself that I didn't like. So I think I had this, I bought this shortly after. I don't remember when I bought this. But I don't know, a retelling of Phantom of the Opera always pulls to me because I love that story. And I am going to be giving this author another chance with the writing style and see if I like it. Next, I have Cloak of Night by Evelyn Skye. This is the sequel and finale to Circle of Shadows, which I read in October. My wrap-up will be coming sometime next week, I believe. And I'm not really sure. I think that's when it's coming out. I don't remember the schedule offhand. But I loved Circle of Shadows. Gave it 5 stars. It's a fantastic story about a school of assassins and trying to protect their kingdom. There's so many things, other things that happen, but that's the main concept. School of assassins. It was great. It was everything that I wanted. Not just assassins. They're like ninja assassins, and it's just immaculate. I love it. So really excited to finally delve into the sequel for this one. Next, again, similar to with This Poison Heart, I have one of my Fairy Loot books that I'm still trying to read, and that is 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. Elizabeth Lim is the author of the Spin the Dawn duology, and I love that duology. I think it is fantastic and just beautifully told. So I am so excited to be getting another duology from her in the same world nonetheless. This is like thousands of years before Spin the Dawn, but I don't care. I'm in love with this cover. This is the UK cover, and it's just gorgeous. We have the cranes. It's a beautiful book. I think there's art, and there's, like, look at this. This book is just beautiful, and I'm so excited to delve into this. I've heard nothing but raving reviews about this story, and I'm ready. I'm so ready. Next, I have This Coven Won't Break by Isabel Sterling. This is the sequel to These Witches Don't Burn, which I read last month in October, and I'll be giving my full thoughts on that in my wrap up, and I liked it enough where I wanted to grab the sequel, which is This Coven Won't Break. I really liked the story. We're following these witches in this modern day, and it's very Harry Potter-esque, where it's, you know, don't tell the muggles, and they even make some of those comments throughout the book, which I really love when author is trying to portray magic within our modern world and weaves in pop culture references. I think it's really entertaining, especially the different parallels that we can draw between them. So really excited to dive into this sequel. I have no idea if this is a duology or trilogy. I'll have to do some more research on that to see if I need to look out for book 3, because all I knew was there was a book 2. And the last book that I have for my TBR is always Sarah's pick, and Sarah picked for me this month The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. She picked this because I think we've gotten to the point where I finally read all the books she really thinks that I'd like and that she's read, so now she wants me to start vetting books for her. So she picked this one, and I've seen this go around a lot and for a long time, and I want to say this is an older YA book. Okay, not really. This is 2017, and it's not YA. It's never been in the YA section. But I've heard a lot of good things about this, and I think that I think it's supposed to be similar to East and West by Edith Pitot. And I loved those books, so I'm really hoping that I like this one as much. And this is a trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. So these are the books that I have to read this month. I'm hoping some vacation time at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month with Thanksgiving will give me the time I need to get through my TBR and dip my toes into my floating TBR that I do whenever I finish my actual TBR every month. So that is going to be it for today's video. Please like, comment, subscribe to our channel. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, with the occasional Sunday, and I will see you guys in our next video. Bye!